Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm out on another walk. And this time, where am I? Oh yes, I'm near Storrington. Storrington's that way in West Sussex. And I'm looking for a windmill. But first of all, I've got to find it. All I know is it's on Sullington Warren. The mill that I'm looking for, the White Mill, is slightly tucked away past, as I seem to go, some very nice houses set back on the side of the hill here. I'm still looking for the public footpath from the main road. I'm in West Sussex, close to Storrington, near Worthing, about 6 miles from Worthing, and there's a number of routes up here. Here we go. Another lovely property with a beautiful tree here, some sort of fir tree, I'm guessing. And as I head up on this very cold 4 degrees January day, still trying to find my route up to look for the White Mill. You can see here, I've just paused for a moment, we're on a raised hill, and this would have been the perfect place to put a windmill. There's all these trees and stuff, these wouldn't have been here. This was an open heath back in 1800 when the mill was originally erected. A white open trestle post mill. Now, somewhere, and I'm not quite sure exactly where, there were 2 water mills, all of them corn mills, so seems to be some orienteering going on. There's lots of people running around with maps looking for things, or some form of treasure hunt or something. What are you all looking for?
Orienteering.
Oh, you are orienteering. I wondered if it was a treasure hunt or something.
No treasure, sadly.
Oh, well done. On the top of this area, as I say, open, and the reason I've come here, because obviously the windmill is no longer here, but there is a remnant of the windmill, and here it is, just coming up to it now. This is a special piece of apparatus, which this is the wind shaft. This piece of technology is what held the 4 sails. Amazing. Yeah, cloth sails that would have held these 4 sweeps, as they were known on the Sussex mills, I believe. And here they would have connected in this bit here. Sort of, I don't know whether that's a mortise joint. They would have connected in there, and one there, one at the bottom there, and around they would have gone. Turning, of course, and from here, actually, you can see this is a perfect sort of hill vantage point, because it's right on the pinnacle, really. So you get views down to the South Downs, because technically we're just off the South Downs, really. You've got views going up towards, well, what would have been towards Horsham, I suppose, and the North Downs, and then east and west. East going towards Brighton, and west going eventually towards Winchester and Chichester and that sort of thing. The mill operated for about 200 years, and in 1907 it finally gave up. I don't know whether that's commercial pressure, but it was abandoned and the millstones removed. Well, because it was a beautiful mill, with its white weatherboarding, it was decided that it would stay up here as a local landmark. It would have been seen, and a little bit of heritage. But it only stayed there for about 4 years. For in the 9th of August 1911, there was a fire. The heath caught fire. I don't know how it caught fire, why it caught fire, but caught fire it did. Now, as I said before, these trees weren't here. Things like this silver birch, for example, wasn't here. They planted, it looks like, a whole load of perhaps pine trees. I'm not sure what they are, but it was more like this: bracken, gorse, dry stuff. We're talking August, we're talking a dry time, and it caught fire, and a raging fire it was. You don't get forest fires in England or in Britain. Woods, our woods do not catch fire. There's something particularly unique about that. You get lots of woods which are adapted for fire, that actually a fire in a wood is good for them, but not in England. So what was combustible was things like the dried gorse and the bracken, as I said before. Now, it was some distance from the mill and the villagers came out, but we're talking 1911. We didn't have the helicopters dropping water then. We had barely any sort of way to deal with fire, perhaps digging some sort of dry trench to try and stop the fire from spreading, limited water supplies, beating, I'm guessing, but nothing actually was able to prevent the fire from spreading across the heath here up towards the mill. It would have been with some despair that the local population witnessed not only the heath on fire, but of course the disappearing of the windmill. And there's this terrific picture of people looking at this huge heath fire with the flames crossing the countryside, looking up, and all that was left was this amazing piece of metal that held the sweeps together. And so that has been now put up as a preservation piece by by the National Trust. It actually says the support for this shaft and plaque was set up by the Sandgate Conservation Society in May 1978. So the next time you come up to Sullington Warren and you're wandering around, whether you're orienteering or just going out for a nice little stroll, then give some thought to the windmill that once stood here back for 200 years until the 9th of August 1911. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that lovely little walk, and I will catch you on the next one. Until then, goodbye. I've got to get my out of here. Excuse me, could I borrow a map?